work down your body, okay? Down. Step up. Pitch. Now look what I got, but you gotta do this.
That's a nice one. That was a really nice one.
Treats inside. Okay, you can close it. Now open it. Now open it. Oh, yeah, you're trying.
There you
go. Good girl.
There you
Good
go.
girl.
Hey there, guys. Today's video is going to be part 2 of Marley, my daughter's Mustang project. If you remember back a few months ago, she got a wild Mustang through a program with the Mustang Heritage Foundation and the Bureau of Land Management, where they kind of allow kids and adults to train a wild Mustang that was from an overpopulated herd to become a trained horse for, you know, ranch work or trail work or whatever you are hoping to use a horse for, in order to keep them out of the BLM holding facilities. So this is going to be part 2. Part 1, we got her wild and showed you the few things that we were able to kind of get her to the point where she could be haltered and led and things like that. And now we will show you what basically Marley and Wendy have learned since then. So the format of this is going to be pretty simple. I think we're just going to talk about all the things that Marley and Wendy have learned since the last video, and we'll show you clips along the way of some of the things they've been doing. And then at the end, I'll talk about Marley's show that she competed in as part of that program, and then maybe talk about, you know, if we would ever do this again. We do haltering, basically getting a lot of hands on her, backing. What else do we do?
Ooh, I don't know.
Leading?
Leading. I think we did a little bit of that.
Did you get into the walk trot transitions?
If I did, barely.
Okay, well then on this, we have definitely gotten into the walk trot transitioning.
Back.
Pivots.
Back. Thank you.
What else has
We're
she
still
been able to
working
do?
on the pivots.
Yeah, sometimes she does it really well. Side passing.
Yeah, she's pretty good at that.
Side passing over obstacles like a board or something like that. And what else for the basics? Am I missing anything?
Picking up hooves.
Picking up hooves. I got this on
Groundtine.
the next one. I guess we'll go into the desensitization.
Good girl.
Liberty.
Back. Back. Good girl. Scratch it down. Okay, bow. Bow, Eddie, bow. Oh, come on. There you bow.
That's
That
a
was
nice one.
cute.
That was a really nice one.
Come on.
So what are some of the things we did for that? Because we spent a lot of time on various forms of that.
Flags and ropes and dogs and trailers and...
Whistles? Horns?
She was never really scared of noises.
Clapping to kind of
Yelling.
mimic like maybe gunfire or something like that. We didn't do any actual guns, but we had some boards that clapped together to desensitize her. Tarps.
Cars. She was real
Cars.
scared of like easy ups and stuff.
Yeah, so we had her
easy
walk
ups.
near obstacles over and under things.
Good girl.
What else did we do with the tarps? As far as
Walk
getting...
her over them and under them. And
Did we rub it all over her body?
Yeah.
Around her legs?
pretty hard.
And we also took these ropes and we ran the rope around her legs.
And tossed it over
her to kind of, get her used to lots of things touching her in places that she's kind of not used to.
Good girl.
And what's the purpose of doing that?
just getting them desensitized, and if they ever get caught in a fence, so that they don't panic, and
especially if you're on them.
Yeah, keeping them calm.
Yeah.
It's gonna be feeling like a lot of ropes and stuff when they're saddle age, and they better be good with it now, or else they're probably not gonna be as good with it then.
Yeah. So
Sorry.
when we first started doing that, just touching that rope, even anywhere past the front shoulder, she would panic. But you can see now she does really well with all that. And the tarp was a huge scary thing, but we were able to overcome that, and you can see how well she's doing now. She pretty much just stands there and she knows and trusts Marley, and hopefully she's gonna make a great saddle ready horse when she gets of age. Marley had to learn how to lunge, Wendy, so tell them what lunging is.
It's basically where you're standing in the middle and you're not really moving your feet much, and the horse is moving around you. It can be used for exercise, respect, because in the wild, the leader doesn't use the one who's using their feet less is higher. So when you're standing here and you're making them move, it's basically asserting dominance. Wendy, no. So you're gonna stand here and...
So do you want to show them how kind of the basics?
Sure. So you're gonna say, will you go? She knows this pretty good. And you can do it at a walk. Good girl, walk. Good girl. She used to go crazy and gallop around, bucking and kicking. Now she's pretty good. Will you go? Trot, Wendy, trot. Now you can stop. Now go this way. Don't cut in.
And I wish I had that last part on camera, because we had some pretty good thunder there in the background, and Wendy did a little bit of tense up, but oh, there it is again. She is definitely becoming a pretty level-headed horse. Okay, so what is the other thing we worked on that has to do with us traveling places?
Trailering. Back, Wendy, back.
And what did we do to start that?
We
had that old rusty trailer that we borrowed.
Roofless, and we put her food in it, and she walked right up into that trailer like nobody's business, wasn't scared of it. Yeah. She actually enjoyed, going in it.
We kind of made it a fun thing where she could go in whenever she wanted.
And get her food and get some her favorite treats and stuff.
Then we drove up to the ranch and had her try a couple other trailers that had roofs on them, right?
Yeah, and she did pretty good. And then we attempted ours.
Yeah, and she did well with that. And
it's a pretty small trailer, and she was great with that. And
we taught her to go in and back out, but also
turn around.
That she can turn around if she feels more comfortable.
And I also sent her in, and the sending, I can send her in. We haven't done as much work on that. It's like for the lunging, like how I just showed. You ask, will you go? And you point like that, and they walk on. So you know that we're not lunging.
Essentially, they're just learning that
the point means
they need to go in the trailer when they're told to go in the trailer.
So like I can usually. She's very distracted right now, so I don't think she'll go.
Yeah,
point into the trailer and
Okay, well there you go. So yeah, you can see she listens to Marley, and when Marley needs her to do something, move over, she does it. And now we're going to talk about the next thing we started working on, which was Groundtine, essentially where Wendy stays in place, and she knows that when the rope is set down there, she's just supposed to stay in her spot. And what is that good for?
All sorts of stuff. Like if I needed to go and grab, I don't know, my water, and I had Wendy, I could just drop the rope and run off and grab my water, and she's just going to stand there. If anything, just fiddle with the rope like she's doing.
What else pertaining to her hooves?
Oh, for picking up her hooves, it's good when I can ground tie her. Wendy.
Yeah, when the farrier comes. And how long did we have to get to where we wanted to be able to hold her hooves up?
For the farrier?
Yeah.
Head up. Good girl. 3 minutes.
3 minutes for each hoof, and the back ones were definitely tougher than the front ones, but
Well, once...
And show how she'll pick it up right when you just say hoof.
Hoof, Wendy, hoof. Good girl. Hoof. Good girl.
And after she was good at Groundtine, what do we start doing as far as taking her out of the pen?
Taking her on walks around the trail and desensitizing her, and
taking her through desert areas with no
walking
trail?
through like grass, because when we first started taking her out, we took her out and I don't think there was a lot of grass where she was from, because she would step and she would start kicking her feet and picking up. She could not handle the grass touching her legs.
And why is that important?
Because if she's riding age, we don't, when she's riding age, we don't want her spooking and bucking or kicking or potentially having somebody fall off, you know?
Yeah, and she needs to get used to being in a foreign environment and walking in areas where she can't see everything perfectly, and there's rocks and things that are going to be under her hoofs. And also it's just fun. Oh, we also did it to free feed her, right?
Oh, yeah.
And that was one of her favorite things, is just to go and eat the native grasses that are around here. And we probably did that, what, every other day or so?
Yeah, probably. We'd just take her out, and she knows the word free, and that's when she can be eating. But when she's in working, she has to be listening, and she can't be eating the grass.
And she does that pretty well.
Pretty well, until she's really hungry.
And then she just goes for it. Okay, and the next thing we wanted to talk about is, once we kind of got used to taking her out of the pen and we felt confident that we weren't going to lose her, and she was able to be ground tied, backed, and had all the basics pretty well learned, we started taking her on trips, right, in the trailer. And we started taking her up to the corrals, just a few minutes up the road, so she could kind of see some other horses, not necessarily play with them, but just get exposure to them and have a bigger arena in which to run and kind of stretch her legs. And then we took her to Tom and Kathy's. There's some folks that are working with some other girls in our homeschool group that are also doing the show. And really awesome people. Kathy actually does mounted shooting, so very interesting people, especially in my estimation. But anyway, we took Wendy there so she could run with the other Mustangs. And how was the experience over there?
That was really good. They had an obstacle course, and Wendy enjoyed that, and they got to run around in a big arena and buck and kick and just be horses.
And they had an obstacle course there, right? So she got to exposure to walking on bridges, through a lot of different vegetation. They played a couple games where you girls had to go and
catch them out of the arena with a balloon.
Yeah, they had to have floating balloons.
Of that balloon.
Yeah, so all the horses had a little bit of an issue with that, but again, that just goes back to that desensitization. And then, so we took some other trips, and then we did have one trip where we had a little bit of a mishap, and that was to the Canelo Cowboy Church in Sonoita, Arizona.
Yeah.
And everything was going fine until what happened?
A girl was ponying Wendy, and basically Wendy was acting up, and she got loose and just ran and tumbled through a barbed wire fence, got pretty nice gashes.
Yeah, she had some gashes on her legs and on the underside of her. And we'll talk about this in the next
got a road
question.
Burn. She fell on her side.
Yeah, some pretty good wounds. And who had to kind of become our veterinary expert?
Mom.
Yeah, so my wife Taryn is very adept at all sorts of care for both Marley and I, and she's kind of like our Dr. Quinn. But she used a lot of different things to help tend to those wounds. And about 2 weeks later, she was almost good as new. So that kind of leads into the next question we were going to cover anyway, and that is veterinary care, or, you know, kind of like DIY home-based veterinary care. And that has been a pretty good experience through this whole thing, right?
Yeah.
And so with the thing we were just talking about, the mishap where she ended up going through a barbed wire fence, getting several gashes on her legs, My wife Taryn used a lot of natural kind of methods and homeopathy, as well as kind of old homesteader wisdom through some books. I'll put some pictures or clips right now of how to tend to your animals. She's used these things for our goats and chickens in the past, and they also worked well on the horse. But I mean, it was everything from wrapping the wounds, more traditional kind of medical practices, to like packing it with certain types of clays. She gave her lots of different homeopathy kind of stuff, remedies to calm her. She had some stomach issues for a while. And then what's the last thing that we're dealing with her hooves?
Hoof rot.
Yeah. So we just noticed, and how did Mom notice that?
Well, I was cleaning out her hooves, and there was.
You had to smell,
your
right?
Ears itching. Yeah, it was a real bad smell, and.
So we did a little research and found out that it was
hoof rot.
Which is kind of a little bit odd because obviously we're in a dry environment, but we're in the midst of our monsoon season, and we're thinking with the extra moisture.
And I had to do a lot of baths for the show.
Yeah, a lot of bathing. So we think maybe that's what happened. But anyway, we are also treating that, and she's doing fine. But it's just the whole reason I wanted to bring that up is because getting the animal has led into a whole other world of having to be self-reliant with not only our medical care, but the animal's medical care. And we also do have a veterinarian that we can call for things that are out of our control. And the last thing we wanted to cover was basically what was the whole thing that you were working for this whole time.
The show.
The Arizona Mustang Tip Challenge up in what, Gilbert or Phoenix area? Queen Creek, I think.
Yeah.
And how did she do? What was your first event that you had to do?
Handling and conditioning. We placed 9th in that, where you basically did walk, trots, woes, backs. Picked up all 4 feet, brushed them all over, fly sprayed, loaded them in a trailer. But it was new environment, and all the things that Wendy does perfect here was not as perfect there. And it was also in a covered arena, her first time ever really being in a covered arena, so that was also a little bit scary for her. But she just did not want to back, and her woes and pivot were not too smooth.
Not quite as good, but overall you were able to power through, and what'd you do? Always just kept a smile on your face?
Yep.
And didn't let anything get you down. You knew some of those things would probably come up, even though at home she does everything perfectly. And what was the next event after the handling and conditioning?
Trail.
Okay, and what did you have to do for trail?
Do a can drag in a big circle, walk over a bridge, side pass both directions, trot over poles, which we thought were going to be crown poles, but they were more of a jump, about that high, but they were really close together, so I didn't expect her to trot over them.
And she had to back through an alley.
So she had to walk. Yeah, she did not back through that one. Like I said, in handling and conditioning, she didn't back, so she didn't back in trail either.
But that's okay. And
everywhere else, she backed fine.
Yeah, all the other things you were able to just.
And then go up to a mailbox. Jingle bells, and she spooked at them at first, and then was chill with them. So I was still pretty proud of her. She was just on edge at the show.
And then after that, what was the thing you were kind of really looking forward to, which is the freestyle?
Our freestyle.
Yep. And how did that go?
That was really good. We placed 2nd in freestyle, 6th in trail, and 9th in handling and conditioning.
Yeah, so we got 9th, 6th, and 2nd. And I'll show clips of this as we're talking, but what was the really cool thing about the freestyle that you got after it was done?
I got fan favorite award.
So she didn't win it, but she got fan favorite. She worked really hard on the obstacles.
Yeah.
And
so I got a head stall and first place ribbon and a $50 gift card to Boot Barn for that.
That's pretty cool. So I think now
and
we'll
I
just
placed,
show you.
2nd in freestyle.
Oh yeah, and then overall, so out of all of the
events.
So handling, conditioning, trail, freestyle, all combined, what did you get out of all the kids?
5th out of 16 kids, so I got 5th overall.
Oh, I think that's pretty good. And what was the other thing? You were the oldest or
Youngest.
You were the youngest out of all the kids. So that's pretty cool. We'll show you some clips of that right now, and then we'll see if Marley ever wants to do this again.
Oh, yeah. Jump. Jump.
That was nice.
Thank you. Knee. Knee.
Nice.
Jump. Jump. Whoa, whoa. Whoa, 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 whoa. Whoa.
Oh, good girl.
Inch. Whoa. Inch.
Good girl.
Inch.
Oh,
Oh, wow.
Wow.
Now back.
That's all right. You did good.
They blew towards her.
Nice.
Slowly towards you, but you're just gonna walk through.
That was nice.
Like nice and calm. Good girl. Free. No back. Thank you. Girl.
Good girl. Remember to pray through.
I did.
Look ahead. Straight through.
Good. Beautiful. Ready and jump up. Jump up. Inch. Now look what I got, but you gotta do knee, knee, knee.
Good. That was fantastic.
Come on, you gotta bite it. Bite it. Thank you. Bite it.
All right, guys. Well, I think that is going to do it for this part 2 of Marley's Mustang project. We are joined by my wife, who I mentioned earlier as Dr. Quinn. She's more than just a Dr. Quinn. She's pretty much the glue that holds this little family together. She's our doctor, our nurse, our psychologist, and everything in between. But anyway, she is the one responsible for doing most of the work with Marley on this project, as well as all of the amazing animal care that all of our animals have had. She's used lots of different resources in homeopathy and kind of natural remedies and old homesteader wisdom, as well as some more modern conventional stuff. But anyway, as far as the project, do you think you would do this project again?
Oh yes.
Yeah. Would you recommend it? Anybody else try it who's your age, a 10-year-old girl who wants to get their hands dirty and have an experience with a Mustang or a Burro?
Yeah, I do.
And speaking of that, this program, as I mentioned before in the other video and this video, it was the partnership between the Mustang Heritage Foundation and the Bureau of Land Management. And currently, I think the relationship is on hold. So I don't know what it's going to be like moving forward, although the BLM will still allow people to adopt Mustangs and Burros. There just may be a different relationship between the Mustang Heritage Foundation and them. But anyway, we're grateful for the program. We couldn't recommend it enough. The lady who coordinates it, her name is Annie McDermade, and she did an unbelievable job. And we just want to give a thanks to her for introducing us to this tip challenge. And
Yeah.
anything you girls want to say?
Thank you, Annie.
Yep.
We have a lot more gray hair because of it.
Yeah. Yeah, if I didn't mention, my wife is the one who did the great majority of work with Marley. She was out there for 3, 4, 5 hours a day with the horse, because we obviously didn't want a 10-year-old girl being with that horse all alone all the time, especially in the earlier stages when it was a little bit you know, a little bit more wild. So anyway, she's done all of that, and I just couldn't be more proud of these two girls.
Did a good job.
If you girls don't have anything else to say, we will just leave you off with that. Give us a thumbs up if you like this, and if you want to see similar projects like it, let us know. And remember, you can check out the videos on Rumble, Odyssey, as well as here on YouTube. And until then, we will see you next time. God bless.